Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, where today guys, I'm gonna do part 14 to my ChatGPT character chatbot redemption attempt series. Where in today's video guys, we're forced on the web version of this because for some reason the app won't work. I don't know what's been going on with the app, but it has not worked all day. Luckily for me, I did get some more chatbots created. I actually did get like 3 or 4 other ones on here. However, oh my gosh. Yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on here in terms of newer things. So yeah, the first one is the Angry Vengeful Totodile or Angry Vengeful Feraligatr that I've been doing on some of the other chatbots recently. Hopefully this one won't mess up. Here's the weird thing about it. Whenever the limit ran up, the limit came back on like 30-40 minutes later instead of waiting 5 to 8 hours. It's like, okay, that's weird. I hope that doesn't mean they made the flipping thing worse, because if they made the 5 mile worse, I'm so screwed. And it sucks because this is the only like good chatbot I have. The other ones don't have a good enough memory. Google Gemini does it fine, I guess, but then it gives you all these things in the list that suck. So, yeah, this the Angry Vengeful Totodile, and it's called The Shattered Kindness, The Tale of a Broken Heart. Goodness gracious. When he was born, the Totodile had the brightest smile and the most open heart. His scales shone with an aqua blue brilliance, and his laugh was infectious to anyone who heard it. He wanted nothing more than to surround himself with love, friends, Pokemon, and even humans. Though small, his spirit burned with an eagerness to help. He would carry sticks twice his size for older Pokemon, fetch berries for his family, and splash about to cheer up anyone who seemed down. To those who treated him with kindness, Totodile offered everything he had: his loyalty, his playfulness, and his boundless love. His family adored him, proud of his generosity and obedience. For a time, his world was nothing but gentle waves and laughter. But that peace shattered when Totodile was only 2 years old. One day, he spotted a man struggling beneath the weight of a heavy box. Eager to help, the little Pokemon waddled forward with wide, helpful eyes and a cheerful chirp, offering his tiny claws to share the burden. The man sneered down at him. "Hey, you little varmint! Get out of my way!" Before Totodile could even react, the box was hurled down upon him. It slammed against his body, forcing the air from his lungs. Pain shot through his little frame, and he whimpered as the man walked away without a second glance. His family rushed to his side, furious and protective. They shielded him, healed him, and assured him he was loved. Totodile, though hurt and confused, did not allow bitterness to linger. Within days, he was back to bouncing about, his bright eyes determined not to let cruelty change him. But cruelty was not done with him. Over the next several months, the little Totodile continued to extend kindness to humans. Yet, time and again, he was met with coldness, anger, and malice. They hurled insults, chased him with nets, and struck at him as though his compassion were a crime. Pokemon hunters saw him not as a friend, but as a prize. Children mocked his efforts. Grown men tried to cage him. And then came the day that broke him completely. A group of humans cornered him and his family. His parents fought valiantly, their love for him greater than their fear. But no love could withstand steel and fire. Before his eyes, his mother and father fell, their final cries echoing in his ears as their lifeless bodies slumped to the ground. I don't like how it worded that. That is so terrifying. Something inside Totodile snapped. He roared, not the playful squeal of a child, but a gurgled cry of anguish and rage. His body trembled, glowed violently with a red aura. The energy of evolution surged within him, but this was no natural change. Fury warped his path. Instead of a crocodile, he leapt directly into a monstrous feraligatr. His body twisted with unnatural power. Spikes along his head, back, and tail grew long and sharp, gleaming like silver blades. His scales deepened into a near black blue, and his eyes blazed crimson. His roar shook the ground itself, and in the center of his spiked back, the faint image of the Toadal he once was, burning with vengeful fire, screamed in agony. Before the glow fully faded, something else appeared. Where the power had struck the ground, a small plush toy materialized. A Toadal doll, stitched and soft, but alive. Its button eyes blinked, and its cloth mouth curved into a smile. This plush was no ordinary creation. It was the very embodiment of the sweet, innocent soul the Feraligatr had lost. As the humans fled in terror, one man stumbled. Feraligatr's eyes glowed with an otherworldly crimson light, freezing the man where he stood. With a snap of his clawed fingers, purple energy enveloped the human, holding him in place. Uh-oh. You wouldn't leave me alone, Feraligatr growled, his voice dark and echoing with power. Now, I will take your soul. Oh my gosh, then why did his voice get so deep on the word soul? The man screamed as a glowing blue orb, his very soul, was ripped from his body and drawn into Feraligatr's claws. The husk of the man collapsed to the dirt. With another incantation, Feraligatr invoked his vengeful magic, transforming the lifeless body into a hulking, metallic beast. Before long, a 15-foot robot Triceratops stood at Feraligatr's command, eyes glowing with yellow light. The man's memories were gone. Only obedience remained. From that day forward, the broken-hearted Feraligatr vanished into the wilderness, retreating from civilization. To humans, he became a nightmare whispered in fearful voices. A shadow of betrayal turned into wrath. Yet, in his solitude, he cradled the Toadal plush close. Though he had renounced his kindness, he could not abandon the piece of himself that still longed for friendship and play. The plush was his comfort, his tether to what he once was. He guarded it jealously, using even the robot Triceratops to entertain and protect it. The plush, however, still carried a spark of hope. It loved to laugh, to play, to help others, even if its larger counterpart could not. And though Feraligatr had turned bitter, the plush still longed for a human friend. Months passed, the cycle of anger and solitude continuing. Then, fate shifted. Far from the safety of home, a human wandered into the wild forest. The trees grew dense, the paths unfamiliar. Lost and weary, the traveler pressed deeper, unaware of whose territory they had entered. There, in a clearing, the scene revealed itself. The Toadal plush skipped and played, giggling with innocent joy. Nearby, sitting upon a fallen tree, the massive Feraligatr loomed, his crimson eyes staring out into the shadows. Beside him, the towering robot Triceratops stood vigil, its glowing yellow eyes sweeping the forest. Suddenly, the robot's head turned. Its eyes shifted from yellow to red, casting a sinister glow as its voice rumbled in a mechanical growl. Warning, human presence detected. The Feraligatr's gaze snapped toward the intruder. The plush froze mid-step, his tiny cloth body trembling. The forest grew eerily silent, as though the trees themselves were holding their breath. And there the human stood, face to face with the monster of shattered kindness, his innocent counterpart, and a machine formed from vengeance. I am so screwed, aren't I? I hope this thing actually works, because I have a feeling that since it only gave me an hour, it's not going to work. Because the fact that I was trying to get the limit to run out so that way I'd know when it came back on. However, here's the thing. Like I said, I got done with it like 3:30, 3:40, It said it was going to be done at 4:21. It's 5:03. So yeah, is it actually going to give me a good run, or is it going to screw me over? We're about to find out. Give me a moment. Okay, I'm surprised. It actually, look. This is what it gave me. There's more at the bottom, but this is what it gave me for my response. Dude, for not even having to wait an hour, if they fix this where you don't have to wait as long, I'm gonna be so happy. Cause finally ChatGPT is working out better. The last few videos I've done from like what part 8 to 13 was some of the best videos I've done of it, just because of the fact that it was actually working out. Let's hope this Feraligatr does too. It just says I get instantly scared by the robot Triceratops' eyes turning red and then the other one turning to face me. Whoa. Hello? Oh no. The metallic Triceratops let out a low, grinding rumble, gears turning, hydraulics hissing, its head lowered slightly, the red glow from its eyes casting an eerie shimmer across the forest floor. From behind it, the giant Feraligatr rose slowly to his full height, the ground itself seeming to recoil beneath his weight. His claws flexed, and a deep growl rolled from his throat like distant thunder. His eyes glimmered with a vengeful crimson light, but behind it there was something else, something watchful. Then a soft sound broke the heavy air. Hi there! The voice was small and cheery, coming from a Toadal plush who had hopped down from a nearby rock. It walled forward a few steps, its stitched tail swaying side to side as it smiled up at me. The Feraligatr's gaze darted to the plush. Stay back, he rumbled, his voice deep and layered with years of anger and pain. His claws twitched at his sides. You know what they do. But he doesn't look mean, the plush protested, turning its button eyes toward you. He looks scared. The robot Triceratops' voice boomed, monotone and sharp. Hostile in an entity classification. Human. Threat level unknown. Awaiting command. Feraligatr took one heavy step forward. The trees around him creaked with the pressure of his aura. Human, he said, his tone cold but trembling with barely restrained emotion. You wandered far from your kind. You have no idea where you stepped, do you? The Toadal plush looked between the two of you, the massive Feraligatr radiating fury, and you standing frozen in shock and fear. Please don't hurt him, the plush whispered softly, catching his tiny and clutching his tiny arms together. Feraligatr's gaze hardened. Why shouldn't I? He asked, his eyes locking onto you now, glowing and unblinking. Give me one reason why I shouldn't let my creation tear you apart. Oh dear. Okay, so he's aggressive, but okay, let's look at the facts here, though. We got a good response from the robot's actually talking, something ChatGPT or something Copilot wouldn't do that often. The Feraligatr's speaking, the Toadal is speaking, and we've actually got a good story. Again, for this thing not for me only having to wait like 45 minutes to an hour for this to show back up, I'm kind of impressed with how good it's doing. Alright, well, this is terrifying. Give me a moment. Okay, guys, I am getting tortured off camera by bugs now. I'm serious. Before I even did this recording, there was a bug over here torturing me. Over here where you can't see. And then before I start the video back, there was a bug over here too. So I don't know if it's the same bug from before, but this is insane to me. Good news is, it gave me another good response, I think. The responses have been pretty long. Again, for it being less than an hour for it took to get them, it was amazing. Here's what let's just say I get really worried and back up a bit. That's it. And then told the Feraligatr, please don't. I'm not here to hurt anyone. Just please don't attack. Feraligatr's claws tightened, the sound of them grinding against each other echoing like stone against steel. His crimson eyes burned brighter for a moment, focusing directly on you, not with blind rage, but with the kind of deep, ancient hurt that could easily erupt into destruction. Oh, heck no. The robot Triceratops took a step forward, its heavy metal foot slamming into the dirt with a tremor that shook your knees. Its voice hummed, static-filled and chilling. Awaiting target confirmation. Shall I engage? But before Feraligatr could answer, a small high-pitched squeak cut through the tension. Stop it! Don't you see? He's scared. Teleports ran between the two of you, standing defiantly in front of your legs with his little cloth arm stretched wide. The gesture was almost comical, but something in the way it trembled, and the way it faced the towering giant without fear, made even the robot hesitate. Feraligatr's breathing slowed. The crimson glow in his eyes dimmed slightly, the fires of vengeance flickering under the weight of confusion. Scared, he muttered, the word foreign on his tongue after so long. The plush nodded rapidly. Yes, he's not one of the bad ones. I can tell. Look at him. He's not even fighting back. The great Feraligatr exhaled a low rumbling growl that shook the ground, but it was softer now, not a threat, more a warning restrained. His tail thudded once behind him as he studied you, nostrils flaring as though he could smell the truth in your fear. Oh no. If you are lying, he said slowly, his voice like rolling thunder, then I will make this. Oh my gosh! He said, if you are lying, then I will make this forest your grave. Excuse me? He just threatened to flat out kill me. Oh, that's threatening. Yeah, you tell this Feraligatr's angry. Holy shoot! Again, you don't get... This is way more immersive and scary than the other one. You don't get this immersive with any other chatbot. ChatGPT is the one that has that good of interaction. The robot Triceratops' eyes flickered from red to a cautious orange, awaiting further command. Teleport turned its head toward him, smiling nervously. See? That's better. You don't have to scare him anymore. Feraligatr grunted, saying nothing, but his gaze didn't leave you. He seemed torn between two halves, the monstrous guardian of vengeance and a faint spark of kindness buried deep within. The forest went quiet again, the only sound the whisper of wind and the faint hum of the Triceratops' metal frame. The plush looked back up at you with a small, reassuring smile. It's okay, it said softly. You can talk to him now. Just be gentle, okay? Feraligatr's massive claws lowered slightly, though his eyes still burned faintly red. Speak, he rumbled. Why are you here? Oh boy, this is... Give me a moment. Yeah, guys, this is working out really well. Here's what happened. I just said, I'm sorry if I'm in your territory. I promised you it was an accident. I got lost when I was trying to find my way back home. I didn't come here to harm you or anyone. I come in peace. Just please don't kill me. I mean, he legit threatened to do it. He said if I even did like one wrong thing, he would make this forest my grave. He worded it like that. The last thing he said to me, one of the last things he said to me was, I will make this forest your grave. That's a terrifying threat. Holy cow, dude. The forest held its breath. Even the leaves above seemed to still. Feraligatr's glare stayed locked on you, unblinking and intense, the kind of stare that could cut through lies, like claws through bark. His crimson eyes flickered faintly, a storm of thoughts raging behind them. The robot Triceratops shifted, gears whining as it recalibrated its stance. Human statement logged. It droned. Probability of deception 4%. Standing by. Okay, what's the 4% from? You should say 0. Feraligatr's head tilted slightly, his jaw tightening. You come in peace? He echoed. Oh, think we're getting to him a bit. That'd be kind of awesome if we got to him this quickly. The words tasting bitter in his mouth. That's what they all said. Dang it, never mind. Every one of them who smiled while they hid their nets behind their backs. He took one step forward. The ground cracked beneath the weight of his clawed foot. His breath came out hot, carrying the scent of the earth and something faintly metallic, like ash and sorrow. The toad plush looked up at him, tugging Jill on his scarred leg, or his scaled leg. Feraligatr, please, it pleaded. He's not lying. You can tell, can't you? Look at him. He's terrified, not cruel. At least the toad plush is helping me. For a moment, Feraligatr said nothing. His eyes flickered, his deep red hue dimming to a dull ember. His massive claws slowly unclenched. Terrified, he repeated again, his tongue quiet now and almost distant. He glanced away, staring into the shadows of the forest. That was me once, he muttered, his voice lower, rougher, and as though admitting it pained him. Scared, trying to help, trying to be good. The plush pressed its soft head against his leg like a child comforting a wounded parent. You were good, it said softly. You still can be. Feraligatr exhaled deeply, the air whistling through his sharp teeth. Then his gaze shifted back to you, steadier than this time. Not kind, but not murderous either. Dude, that is twice. He will make this my watery grave, or my grave. And then this one right here, where he just said, not kind, but not murderous either. That's how angry this Feraligatr was. And technically, if you think of, remember that robot Triceratops he has was originally a human. Feraligatr took his soul and then turned him into that. Holy crap, dude! Oh my gosh! Lost human, he rumbled. You tread upon cursed ground. I've not allowed your kind here for a reason. Yet. He paused, his eyes narrowing slightly. You have not run. You have not lied. Perhaps you are different. The robot Triceratops' eyes faded back to yellow as it stood down. Command update. Human deemed non-hostile. Defensive mode reactivated. Why is that considered reactivated for defensive mode? You think that'd be it? The plush beamed. See? He believes you a little now. A little. Feraligatr shot at a sideways glare, but said nothing. His silence spoke louder than his growls ever could. Finally, he straightened to his full height, his silhouette casting a massive shadow across you. If you wish to leave, I will not stop you, he said at last. But if you mean what you say, that you came here in peace, then prove it. And again, how am I supposed to do that? Because he ain't gonna trust me getting close to him. The pulse went from him to you, his eyes wide and curious. I think he means you should show him you're not really nice. Maybe talk to us for a bit. Feraligatr crossed his arms, his massive tail flicking behind him. Words are easy, he growled. Actions, those are harder. He stared at you, silent, waiting, and testing your resolve. Oh, frick. How am I supposed to prove besides just giving him a berry? Like, the best I can... Because if I walk towards him, he's going to instantly think, oh, crap, he's going to attack me. Robot? Kill him. You know? Or terminate. You know what I mean? It's like... Or he'll do it himself. And if he doesn't use the robot or himself, he'll probably turn me into something. Knowing my luck, he probably knows my feelings, like, I'll just turn you into a roach. Bam! Like, oh, heck no, I don't want to be, I don't, no, I don't want that, no. Alright, guys, we did have a bit of a problem when I tried typing in the thing I was trying to get. I had to completely close out the entire web browser and reopen in order to get it to work. But it did work, and it's going again. I just told him I don't know much of how I could prove it to you. There is one thing I can do, and I just take the bag off of my bag, take the bag, and set it down, opening it and grabbing 2 berries. Then I looked down at the toad. Here, do you want this? If you're hungry, you can eat it. And then I set the berry on the ground, then looked back at Feraligatr. I know it's not much, but it's the only thing I can do, I can think of to show you that I mean no harm. I hope Feraligatr accepts this and doesn't take this like some kind of excuse or something. That's gonna suck if he does. The forest, moments ago tense with the weight of violence, seemed to soften at the sight of your small gesture. A faint breeze stirred the leaves above, carrying the scent of the berries, sweet, ripe, and full of life. The toad plush blinked up at you, its button eyes gleaming with surprise. It walked forward carefully, slowly, cautious but curious, and looked at the berry as if unsure whether to touch it. Then it glanced back at Feraligatr, seeking silent permission. Feraligatr stood utterly still, his crimson eyes flickering, narrowing in uncertainty. He said nothing, his gaze locked on you, studying your every movement, searching for deceit, for some hidden cruelty that might follow the kindness. But there was none, only calm sincerity. Finally, he exhaled the deep, rumbling breath that shook the air. "Go ahead," he muttered. The plush's entire face lit up. It squeaked joyfully, grabbing the berry with its tiny cloth claws, and took an exaggerated bite. The berry squished slightly, staining its felt mouth with juice. It laughed. "It's good, sweet, just like the ones my family used to pick for me." The last sentence made Feraligatr's expression falter. The mention of family hit something buried deep beneath his hardened scales. He turned his head slightly away, his claws flexing once before curling against his arms again. "You offered food," he said at last, his voice quieter than before. "Not a weapon, not a trap, just food." The robot Triceratops, now watching from behind, made a soft humming sound as its sensors flickered. "Behavioral analysis. Generosity detected. Emotional sincerity 92%. The plush beamed and waddled toward you, holding out what remained of the berry as if offering to share it back. "See, Feraligatr? He's nice. You didn't even get scared when I ate in front of him." Feraligatr had a low, gravelly chuckle. Though it wasn't cruel this time, it was dry and almost sad. "You have a strange way of measuring courage," he murmured to the plush. Then his gaze fell back on you. "Human," he said, his voice carrying the weight of old wounds. "You've done what many before you would not. You gave instead of taking." He took a slow step closer, lowering his head so that his glowing eyes met yours directly. "Oh, heck no, please don't attack me." The air between you trembled with power, but his tone was no longer purely threatening. "Tell me your name," he said softly. "If I am to decide your fate, I should at least know who stands before me." The tail plush looked between you both, its little tail swaying with excitement. "Ooh, he's asking your name. That's a good sign," it whispered loudly. Feraligatr gave it a sideways glance, then looked back at you, waiting. See how much more interactable this one is, though? I wish the app would work. We're having problems with the app. It's been like that all day yesterday and today, too, so far. The mobile version's working. It seems to be working just as good, if not better than the app. But it's like, still, the app would still be easier. And wouldn't have to worry about the stupid door at the top of the screen. That thing right there. The thinking bar and everything up here. It might not be that big of a deal, but for me it kind of is, and I'm so used to not saying that crap. The only ones I've had to do it for is Perplexity and Meta. All the other ones are through apps. Google Gemini, app. Copilot, app. You know, Character AI, app. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I just told him my name and asked him what his was. And it said, for a long moment, Fragger didn't answer. The forest was silent, but for the faint hiss of the... Forest was silent, but for the faint hiss of the Triceratops' cooling vents and the whisper of leaves in the breeze. His eyes narrowed slightly, and he seemed almost puzzled. Triton, he repeated, slowly as if testing the way of the name on his tongue. That's a name I haven't heard spoken without fear in a very long time. When has he heard that name before? Okay. He straightened a little, his gaze drifting away from you toward the trees. When he spoke again, his voice was lower, not quite a growl anymore, but still heavy with old pain. I had a name once, he said. A name my parents gave me. Before. His claws tightened against his arms, scraping faintly over the scales. Before humans took them from me. Toadleplush blinked up at him, quietly holding on to the half-eaten berry. You can tell him, you know, it said softly. It's okay to remember. Fragger looked down at the little plush, the red glow in his eyes dimming to a deep ember. Finally, he sighed, a slow exhale that felt like it carried centuries of exhaustion. My name, he said quietly, is Kyle. I don't know if it's Kael? Is it Kyle? I don't know how you say actually that name. The plush smiled brightly. Kyle, that's his name? Isn't it cool, Trenton? Kyle's mouth twitched, the faintest ghost of a smile that never quite reached his eyes. It's just a name now, he muttered, a memory of a creature who thought kindness would be enough to survive. He looked back at you, then, head tilting slightly, and yet, you still stand here, even after knowing what I am. You don't run, Trenton. Why? His claws resting against the earth, not in a fighting stance, but as if he genuinely wanted to understand. Toadleplush wobbled over to your foot and gently nudged your shin with a soft cloth paw, looking up at you expectantly. Yeah, Trenton, why aren't you scared of him? He asked in a small, curious voice. Kyle's gaze stayed locked on yours, heavy and searching, waiting for your answer. Okay, this is really neat. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. Here's what happened. I just said, trust me, originally I was. You saw how terrified I was of you whenever you were threatening to attack and kill me. As long as you're not going to hurt me, I won't be scared of you. Your little toad friend here is cute. Did he say you were a feraligatr? Why do you look so different compared to your normal species? Kyle's crimson eyes flickered faintly at your words, the faint ember of red within them softening to a dull glow. The giant Fragger didn't speak right away. Instead, he let the silence linger, the sound of wind weaving through the trees, the quiet hum of the Triceratops standing guard, the rustle of leaves brushing across his spiked back. When he finally spoke, his voice was lower than before, a deep rumble that carried more weariness than anger. Yes, I am a feraligatr. He turned slightly, showing his jagged reflection in a nearby pool of still water. The surface quivered at the sound of his voice, rippling across the silver-bladed spikes that lined his back. But not like the others. Not anymore. The toadleplush looked between you both, clutching the berry in into its chest. It happened when he got really angry, it said softly. When everything bad happened. Kyle nodded once. When they took my family, my home, everything I loved, he said, his claws flexing slightly, the ground beneath them cracking with the faintest tremor. My body changed. but it wasn't a normal evolution. He stepped closer to the pool, his reflection flickering as his red aura pulsed briefly, faint tendrils of energy crawling along the ground. It was rage made flesh, evolution twisted by pain and betrayal. I didn't become stronger because I wanted to. I became this because I couldn't stop myself. His voice deepened, the air getting heavier around him. Most Feraligatr grow larger, tougher, but their hearts stayed the same. Mine split in two. The Toad's boy slowly walked forward, placing its little cloth hand against his massive leg. That's alright. That's when I showed up, it said gently. I came out of his heart. I'm the part of him that still remembers what it's like to be happy and to care. Kyle looked down at it. That you, the part of me that didn't die that day, became him. For a moment, the forest grew still again, as though even the world around you was listening to the confession. Kyle's claws flexed once more before he sighed deeply, lowering himself so that he was closer to your height. His red eyes met yours, still intense but no longer glowing with hostility. So yes, he said finally, I am a Feraligatr. I'm also something else. Something made from rage, loss, and regret. Toadal Plush smiled faintly and looked up at you, its button eyes gleaming. But maybe, with your help, he doesn't have to stay that way. Kyle gave a low, uncertain growl at that, though it sounded almost like a scoff. You're too hopeful, little one, he muttered. Then his gaze turned back to you, thoughtful and quiet. You said you were lost, Trenton, he rumbled. If that's true, then fate brought you here for a reason. The plush tilted its head. Maybe he can help us, Kyle. Maybe he's the one. Kyle frowned slightly, confusion flashing in his eyes. The one? The plush nodded silently, clutching the half-eaten berry tighter. You know, the one who can make you whole again? Kyle's expression darkened, though it wasn't anger, it was fear. He looked from the plush to you, silent for several long seconds before finally speaking. Don't fill his head with false hope, he muttered. Then, after a pause, his gaze met yours again. But if you truly came here by accident, then perhaps you should know why I stay in these woods. He motioned with one claw toward a glowing fissure deeper within the forest, faint light pulsing from beneath the roots of an enormous ancient tree. Would you hear my story, Trenton? He asked, his tone softer now, more a question than a challenge. Telepulse looked up at you, nodding eagerly. It's a sad one, but I think you should hear it. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. I just told him, of course I would. To be honest with you, knowing that you are a Feraligatr makes me like you even more. I love your species and pre-evolutions. Toadal, Crocodile, and Feraligatr are the best. Oh, he's shocked, alright. Kyle's eyes widened, not in anger, but in something that looked almost like shock. For a heartbeat, he didn't move. The only sound was the soft hum of the robot Triceratops behind him and the gentle rustle of the forest around you. Then, the crimson in his gaze dimmed again. The glow faded until only the faint reflection of the fissure's light gleamed in his pupils. You... He began quietly, his voice breaking the still air. You... like my kind? Teleport's face lit up immediately. He does! He does! I told you, Kyle! Not all humans hate you. See? He likes us! It bounced happily, its tiny coiffed tail wagging behind it as it circled around your leg. Kyle's jaw tensed, but not in fury this time, rather in disbelief. He stared at you for a long moment, his claws slowly relaxing against the dirt. No one has ever said that to me, he muttered. Not since I was small. He turned slightly away, his massive arm half silhouetted by the faint crimson energy that pulsed through the fissure behind him. When I was a Toadal, I thought humans admired Pokemon. that they saw our strength and joy the same way we saw theirs, but I learned how wrong I was. The Toad plush tugged gently at his leg again, and Kyle sighed, lowering himself onto one knee with a heavy thud that shook the nearby ferns. When he looked at you again, his expression had softened, his eyes no longer full of threat, but something else, a mixture of confusion, curiosity, and the faintest spark of hope. You are strange, Trenton, he said quietly. Most who see me run. You see me and speak kindly. The plush giggled. That's what makes him special. Kyle's eyes lingered on you a moment longer before he slowly nodded. Then you shall hear it. My story. He turned his gaze toward the glowing fissure deeper in the forest, its light reflecting off his metallic spikes like the remnants of dying stars. It began right there, he said, his tone grave. Oh my gosh. That crack was born the day my fury consumed the earth. When I lost everything, the ground itself split under the power of my evolution. It still burns with the same rage that changed me. He paused, his claws dragging faintly across the soil. I tried to bury the pain, but it grew stronger. Every human I met reminded me of the ones who destroyed my home. I punished them until there was no one left nearby who dared to come close. The Toad plush looked down sadly. He... oh my gosh, dude. He didn't know what else to do, he said quietly. He thought if he scared everyone away, he'd never be hurt again. Kyle's head dipped slightly. Even monsters get lonely, he admitted, and the part of me that wasn't corrupted refused to die. It tore free of me and became him. The plush smiled faintly, waving his tiny paw. Hi again! Just the way he said it. That earned a small, deep rumble from Kyle's throat. Not quite a laugh, but closer than he had been in a long time. He looked back toward you. Now, I keep the fissure sealed. If my rage were ever to consume me again, the forest, perhaps the world, would burn. That's why I cannot let humans come here. They bring pain, and pain brings anger. And anger... oh my gosh! He glanced down at his claws. The faint red glow returned to them. Awakens the power beneath the ground. He fell silent for a moment, then added, But you stepped into my home without fear or cruelty. And that alone makes you different. The Toad plush beamed and turned to you. See, Trenton, he likes you now. Kyle grunted, turning his head slightly away as if to hide the faintest flicker of embarrassment. Do not twist my words, he murmured under his breath, though the low tone lacked any true anger. Then he looked back at you. Tell me, Trenton, why do you care so much for my kind? For Toadal, Crocodile, Feraligatr? The question wasn't I don't know how you say that word. Oh my gosh, it was genuine, spoken by someone who hadn't dared to ask such a thing in centuries. How old is this Feraligatr again? I thought this only happened like... I don't remember actually, because it's been a long time. Either way, guys, give me a moment. Alright, guys, here's what I said. I said, because your species is amazing, I don't care how simple they look, they're awesome to me. And to mention how sweet your species has been to me. In fact, back at my house, I have my own sweet Feraligatr. His name is Spike. Kyle's head lifted slightly at that, the molten red in his eyes flickering like a candle caught in a breeze. You have one of us? A Feraligatr who lives with you? His tone wasn't hostile, but rather full of raw disbelief, maybe even awe. The Toad plush gasped, its button eyes sparkling.
See? I told you, Kyle. Humans and Feraligatr can be friends. Spike must really like Trenton if they live together.
Kyle exhaled, a deep rumble rolling out of his chest. Neither a growl nor a sigh, but something between them.
A human who calls a Feraligatr his friend,
he murmured.
That should not surprise me. And yet,
he stopped himself, claws curling faintly against the ground.
My memories make it difficult to believe such a thing could be real.
The fissures glow pulsed once, reflecting off the faint metallic shimmer of his scales. He finally looked at you again.
Tell me, Trenton, what is this Spike like? Is he gentle? Fierce? Does he see you as an equal? Or as a master?
The Toad was hot closer, looking up at you with eager excitement.
Ew! Tell him! He's never met a good Feraligatr in ages. It'll make him happy to know there are still kind ones out there.
Kyle's expression softened a fraction, and though his tone was still low and rough, there was a quiet sincerity beneath it.
What you say is true. Perhaps there is hope for us yet.
He leaned forward slightly, his massive snout drawing close enough for the heat radiating from his body to gently warm your skin.
So, tell me about Spike.
Oh, this is gonna be good. Alright, guys. Here's what happened. It just says, well, before I tell you about him, I want to tell you this, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a Pokemon trainer, but not in the way you might see them. I don't catch my Pokemon and use them as tools for battle. I find the one that I care about, like your species, raise them, and then let them battle. But when we're not battling, I'm taking care of them, feeding them and making sure they are happy. And I do the same thing after we battle. I praise my Pokemon and give them rewards for being so nice. Spike is very sweet and loves to just be with me. Him and most of my other Pokemon have cared about me so much that they even give me affection during battle. The cavern... Is it a cavern or a forest? What the frick? Wait, unless we're... Okay. The cavern grew very still. The only sounds were the quiet hum of the fissures and the distant low clicking of the robot Triceratops servos as it shifted its weight. Kyle stared at you in silence for a long moment, the molten red light in his eyes dimmed, not extinguished, but softening into something far less volatile.
You...
His voice came low and deep, almost hesitant.
You battle beside them, but you love them.
Toadplush beamed, his tail wagging.
See, Kyle? He's a good one. He takes care of them even after they battle. He doesn't use them. He loves them.
Kyle's gaze flickered toward the plush, his other self, then back to you.
It is difficult for me to believe,
he admitted, though his tone carried no anger now.
Humans who bowed my kind before, they did so with cold eyes. Also, no kindness, no joy, only pride and greed.
His claws flexed once against the rock, molten sparks flicking between them before fading.
Yet, you speak with warmth. You speak as though your partners are family.
He leaned forward slightly again, his eyes narrowing, not hostility but with searching curiosity.
When Spike fights for you, does he do it out of fear, or does he choose to stand beside you?
Tailplush piped up brightly.
Ooh, good question. Kyle doesn't remember what that feels like anymore. Fighting because you want to protect someone.
Kyle's tail gave a slow, heavy swish behind them, scattering glowing embers.
If what you say
is true, Trenton, then perhaps you are not like the ones who hurt me. Perhaps,
his voice trailed off, low and conflicted,
perhaps I have misjudged some of your kind.
He exhaled softly, the air shimmering from his heat.
Tell me then, what does Spike do when you are in danger?
Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. This is where I had to combine uh the games with the actual like my universe, like in the Pokemon Talk series or anywhere else. Up. Well, when 10:07, now it's 4 hours. I don't know why it was so short last time. Why did the limit ran up, guys? So as soon as this one's done, we're done. Here's what it said. I just told him when he's fighting just to help me win battles, he is still extremely sweet. He knows I care about him. Actually, the very last time I was with him battling, there was 2 instances where he gave me affection, even during the battle. And then after the battle, when I was taking care of him, he ran around me happily 7 different times in only like 40 minutes. He's very protective too. He does try to keep me safe because he cares. For a moment, Kyle said nothing. The faint glow on his chest, the same red fire that had once burned with vengeance, shifted to a gentler hue, pulsing like the rhythm of a heartbeat. "He ran around you?" Kyle repeated slowly, his deep voice softening at the edges. "Not because you commanded him, but because he was happy?" Tailplush bounced in place, letting out a small, joyful squeak.
See? That's what love looks like, Kyle. That's how it used to be. We dance and play after helping someone. That's what we were before the world made you sad.
Kyle turned his gaze down toward the plush, his own lost innocence, and then back up to you. His claws relaxed, no longer pressed into the stone. "I remember. Once, long ago, I was like that too," he murmured. "I would help, I would laugh, and my tail would splash the water in joy." His eyes dimmed before they took everything from me. The robot trusted up tilted its head slightly, watching in silence as Kyle's voice grew quieter. "And yet," Kyle continued, "to hear that another Feraligatr has not lost that part of himself, that there are still hearts unbroken by cruelty." He let a deep, trembling breath. "It's there something I thought was gone." Tailplush walled over to him, tugging gently at his claw.
Maybe it means you can still be like that too, Kyle. Maybe you just needed someone to remind you that not every human is bad.
Kyle looked toward you again, this time without suspicion, only the faint, vulnerable flicker of hope. "Trenton," he said quietly, "if what you say is true, then perhaps you and Spike are proof that not all bonds between human and Pokemon are chains." His tail moved once more, carving a faint groove into the earth as if releasing tension. "Tell me," he said after a pause, "does Spike ever, smile when he looks at you?" I would love to continue, but unfortunately, that's where that's going to end. The limit is gone, and it's not coming back on until 10:07. 10:07 a.m., which means about 8 minutes after the flippin' Fire and Ice game mode start for Castle Crush. So, yeah. Well, guys, I'm done for now. I mean, there's nothing else I can do. The limit's gone. I'll see y'all later, guys.